make sure. Let's see. What up, y'all? Welcome to the stream. We are back for another day. Like I said, part of 100 days of streaming. Tonight, we are watching Matt Armstrong's rebuild of his G80 M3. I love this car, honestly. I think it's one of the BMW's best designed vehicles, besides the Touring, which is the wagon variant of it. The Touring, it just hits, but when it comes to wagons, I'm not going to lie, the Audi RS6 still just kills it. Right now, I'm on the phone with my son right now. We just chopping it up, talking about his day. How's the stream looking, though?
It's looking amazing. That camera quality is amazing.
You serious?
Yeah, in the lighting.
Where? How does it sound? Because I am congested as hell. I'm trying to shake off this cold.
It sounds good, but I think you just need one extra light so you seem brighter. It keeps going like what's it called? Dimming then lighting up, then dimming then lighting up.
Yeah, it's just because the metering it's changing. Let me see. What if I because it's trying to adjust for the background for the window. Let me see if I do that. If that fixes it. Is it still doing the whole dimming the light or whatever?
No.
Alright, cool. Yeah, man, every day it's growing. Trying to learn more stuff with the stream. I got the stream on Twitch and YouTube finally. So, yo, DJ, you know I noticed that the quality on YouTube looks one way, but the quality on Twitch looks another way.
Does?
Yeah. You have Twitch or no?
No, I'll download it though.
Yeah, let me know because it be looking grainy on Twitch. I'm like, yo, what the hell's going on? And my internet shit, I pay enough for it. Got my coffee right here because need a little energy booster.
I haven't seen you drink coffee in a while. I used to always see you just drink Red Bull.
Yeah, now I'm trying to cut back on the Red Bull. Even though coffee ain't the best, I'm on like 3 cups of coffee a day just because I wake up so early. Yeah, man. So, how do you feel about the new M3s versus the one I had?
I just feel like I like old school cars more than modern cars. That's just how I am.
Yeah.
I feel like always old school cars are always going to look better because you can't beat the original, no matter how good it is.
But your favorite one is the Tesla though, right? The Tesla over the M3 all day?
Never.
Nah, I'm not gonna lie, yo. The other day I missed my M3. I was like, damn, it's summertime vibes right now. Pulling up, airing out.
Yeah, I just can't with the Tesla. It just sounds like a spaceship. I miss not that, but the burble.
Yeah, the pop, and all that stuff, the bang, and but what I don't miss is smelling like gasoline every once in a while. Oh my god, the Subaru was the worst with that because it was straight pipe. I will never straight pipe another car again as long as I live, yo. The smelling of gas all the time. Oh my god, yo. Some people like that. I'm all set, yo.
No, constant gasoline is not it.
No. Man, I got 10 minutes until this stream. Let me see what can I do to kill the time. Let me find a video. You know, I'm about to start off a stream with a LaShawn video every time just to show love. Shout out to my guy LaShawn. Make sure y'all like, comment, subscribe to his channel. And we just gonna start off with like a little video of his. And then to get into the stream. What show should we look at that we caught footage of? Wait, I'll let you pick, DJ.
I don't know.
What's think of a show that we went to.
That one in Philly. I've always loved going to those shows.
Philly?
Yeah.
All right, let me see if I can find. Go to his page. Damn, last time he filmed Philly was 2022. What the hell? That's crazy.
3 years.
Yeah, let's check it out. Let's see. Let me switch the stream over. Like I said, we about to stream this Matt Armstrong game, but you know what? I'm gonna start showing some strong. Oh shit, DJ, remember this one? Hold on, let me pull it back. Oh, hit mute. Oh, go back, go back, go back. You see that?
Yeah.
Oh man,
It's been a while.
the old Subi with the camera in the back. I wanted to do match and tilt all the way around. I'm not gonna lie, but I was just like, yo, if I push it further in the front, then the axles will start to pop out, and I was like, yo, I'm not dealing with that shit.
It really has. It's been so long since you've driven a Subaru.
Yeah, see how long it's been? Pause. Hey yo.
You,
Hey yo. Damn. Alright, I'm gonna jump into the video. How's the audio on the video? Was it too loud?
not good.
Should we go back to Philly? Did we did we go last year? Should we go back to Philly?
Yes.
And then after the show actually go like eat in Philly though.
Yeah.
Like go get his cheese steak.
We never really explored the city.
Alright, so we'll do that this summer. I'll talk to Sean, we'll link up. We'll get the hotel room separate from the Sean though, because we ain't doing that snoring. Woo! Shout out to Liberty VIP. Damn. Oh, check out Mina. Shout out to my guy Mina. Damn. I wonder where this car is now. Yeah, no BS, yo. The Shaw really talented, yo. Like really fucking talented.
I don't know how many of these clips you want to order.
I know.
They even have it on.
Yeah, he did. He definitely did.
What do you think the best car at this show is?
There was an M3 that had like the turbos underneath. Oh shit, Corey's GTR. There was an M3 that had the turbos mounted underneath the rear bumper, and then like he had mirrors underneath it, and the car was so clean, yo. It was wild. Like it was like meticulous, but like, I don't know if this is the year with the live to offend E30. I think it was the year prior. I don't know. Let me see. Let me see what other cars they got here. That's wild. All right, right there. Woo! Let me know when you get to the RX-7. The RX-7 is tough. Yeah, that one. That does it for me. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I want one of those cars so bad, but I just don't want to deal with a rotary, and I'm pretty sure it's not that crazy of a deal. But like, oh, if I had one of these,
I
oh
can't pick
man,
driving a small car. Like I can't picture you in a Tesla, but now you got one, so you never know.
yeah. All right, shout out to Middle Media. Make sure y'all give him a follow. Subscribe, like, comment on his recent videos. Show him love. Really talented guy from out here in Boston. Even though he tries not to claim he from Boston. But let me see. How much time we got left? We got 6 minutes. Should I start the stream early? I mean, we already up and running. Oh man. Is it laggy? Is it glitching at all on the video?
That's clean.
Alright, cool. Yeah, man. Let me see. I'm about to just start it. 6 minutes ain't gonna kill me. Alright, here we go.
Into a house. And I've just bought it.
Let me pull it back.
Which was a huge risk in itself. Especially knowing
Come on, computer, you like me.
how hard this thing got hit. But as you all know, with huge risks come even bigger rewards. Now maybe you like me and you took one look at this M3 and think it don't look that bad, bearing in mind it's been through a house. I mean, from this angle, it just looks like front end damage. But this M3 was crashed into a house. And I've just bought it, which was a huge risk in itself, especially knowing how hard this thing got hit.
Yo, DJ, if I brought that to the house just like that, what would you say?
Why is it?
You wouldn't have faith?
Honestly, when it comes to your luck in cars, no. I think when it comes to your luck with cars, I don't know.
My luck is not that bad. At least I don't have to worry about running out of gas.
But as you all know, with huge risks come even bigger rewards. Now maybe you like me and you took one look at this M3 and think it don't look that bad, bearing in mind it's been through a house. I mean, from this angle, it just looks like front end damage. But there's some damage on...
You think it looks that bad?
It looks really bad.
On this car, which may make it unrepairable. You're probably wondering, how did an M3 end up in a house? Now we'll get to that story, but let me tell you about the car because I think we've got a bargain providing that issue can be fixed. This is a 2022 car. It's almost new. It's also only done 4,000 miles. It's still got all the plastic on the mats. It's a competition.
I'm not gonna lie, yo. I really like that car, but the price that people are selling that car for, like, I've seen like Lamborghini Gallardos, and then buying that car brand new, you could buy a Huracan the same price used. So, what do you think is a better buy, a Huracan or the M3?
Huracan.
Yeah, but there's only 2 seats. You won't lap it up with everybody.
Nah. But it's...
It just hits different?
Yeah.
Yeah.
More power. Is it more power?
I'm not sure.
I don't know. It's better. The engine looks all good.
I should have made tea instead of
twin
coffee.
turbo, 503 bhp. If you look at it from this side, it looks alright. It has 19-inch wheels on the front, 20-inch wheels on the back, and it's an X-Drive.
Wow.
And a car like this, similar spec, are going for over £61,000. I got this for way cheaper than that. It's red.
Hold on. Let's find this out real quick. How much is 61,000 pounds? And oh damn, I am struggling. $80,000, DJ.
That's bad.
I just saw
Okay, it's
Gallardo
orange.
on sale on
Oh.
Facebook Marketplace for 70.
That's red.
Red. Same as Ferrari, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
No way.
That's 100% red.
$80,000. I'd rather buy a house
I'll
and
say
flip
that's
it.
orange. You say it's red, really? It's no wait. Where's the code? Toronto
You can buy
red.
3 houses in Barbados for that.
AKA orange. Now they're the good points of the car. But when you buy something cheap, there's always going to be bad points. Every single airbag has deployed. The rear screen is completely smashed. The front window's cracked. There's damage to this headlight and this headlight.
Jesus
This
Christ.
oil looked like it was in the car. There's damage to the bumper, the crash bar, the bonnet, and the front wing. And there's a minor dent in the rear quarter. Now, I've never repaired anything this bad ever before. This is structural damage, and we still don't know if it is repairable. But I wouldn't have pulled the trigger on buying this car if I believed it wasn't possible. The problem is, we don't know the full extent of the damage yet, and the only way to find out is to inspect it further. So we need to get this car inside so we can start stripping it completely apart. But to get the car into neutral, I need to be able to start the car to put it into neutral. The car won't start, there's no oil in it, we don't know if the engine runs, and to get the car into neutral, you have to go underneath the car to pull down a lever on the gearbox. Now, if you remember...
DJ, I know you tired, so I'll talk with you tomorrow, all right?
Man, I'll talk with you tomorrow.
All right, get some rest.
I will. Talk to you later, bro.
Peace. Yeah, I gotta let my son get some sleep. He is going through MCAS, which is standardized testing out here in Massachusetts, and it's weird. He just told me that one of the questions was about female male pine trees or whatever the hell it was. I don't know, but as long as
when
he
we did
passed.
the BMW M5, we had to do something similar. Get underneath the car, find the gearbox, and then on that is a lever here which you have to pull down and then zip tie to the prop shaft to keep it in neutral. But that's just pointless, because even if we can get it into neutral, this wheel will not move. It is completely wedged on this quarter. To get it onto
That's
the pickup
crazy.
truck, we had to drag it on with a winch. And to get it off, well, that was a whole different story.
Oh my God.
Even though it is four-wheel drive, the front wheels were still able to roll freely, even with the car being in park. It's just the rear wheels that were locked. Honestly, I don't know where to start with this car, but my first plan is to probably cut this arch out so we can get this wheel moving, then see if we can get it in neutral, then see if we can start the engine. That's the plan. Being that you don't like BMWs, or do you like this one?
Oh
I didn't think so. As Hannah still isn't keen on BMWs, I was going to let her do the cutting of the rear quarter.
no. I thought I was going up here.
no. This doesn't seem right.
She thought.
But here it goes. Let the cutting commence. There's absolutely no way that this rear quarter is repairable. It will definitely have to be replaced. So with that in mind, I didn't feel too bad chopping it to pieces. So this outer panel, if there's damage on this normally, the insurance, they probably wouldn't write it off. All of this is replaceable. It's the stuff inside, which is the structure. And we're hoping that, well, it's clearly hit, but it's whether it's twisted the whole car, and that's what we're trying to find out. And as
No, like, this shit's low-key fire. Like, especially if you're doing it with friends and stuff like that. Like, y'all just buy a project car and y'all just all go in. I could see where that might cause problems, because once the project car is done, it's kind of just like, whose car really is it? But, you know, being able to take something and transform it from, especially how much extensive damage this is, that's wild. Like, so it's pretty dope.
as I peel back the quarter, you can see the inner structure of the car now.
Yeah, that is not good.
That is not good at all, is it? Again, we're not really going to find out whether the chassis is twisted or not until we can get it inside and measured up. Wait until you guys see how I think it's crashed into a house, and you all need to see it as well. It is bizarre. It is bizarre. Oh, don't break. Yeah. There's an ECU there as well. I was just shopping. Look at the boot floor. Oh my God. Next step, see if we can get it in neutral. Step after that, get it in. Step after that, get it started.
I think it'll start.
What, have you even all that oil on the floor?
Reckon we'll be able to drive it then?
It'll start, but not for very long.
Oh yeah, do you think we could drive it?
Not with the suspension like that, no.
Why don't it just jump?
It might go.
It would just crab, wouldn't
Why
it?
don't you just start it here, then you can put it into neutral manually.
Oh yeah, and then get it in drive. Well, I could just drive
That's
it if we
crazy.
could start it here.
Yeah.
There's no reason why this won't drive apart from all the oil on the floor.
Has it got oil in it? And you can't test it with
Oh,
a
you.
car being on.
Oh yeah. Now the wheel has clearance to turn, but instead of going underneath the car to try and get it in neutral to push it, we decided it's a better option to try and start it and actually drive it. Problem is, we can't check the oil on this engine. We can't check the oil because there's no dipstick for checking the oil, because for some reason they decided not to make cars with dipsticks anymore.
Yo, that is the biggest bullshit, yo. I can't stand that. I'm old school. I like having, damn, yo. I'm not even gonna say that, but like, I'm used to checking the oil the old school way, and the fact that you can't now, it's all computerized and all that stuff like that. Like, when I got the M3, that's the way how you check the oil, and then you had to go through the computer to reset the oil levels and make sure everything was monitored. It was just too much. I'd rather old school.
It's something to do with emissions, that, isn't it?
Weight saving.
So, I don't think there's going to be any oil in it, and BMWs insist for some reason, Matt, check this out, underneath here, see at the very bottom, down there, that's the oil cooler. BMW put them on the very bottom of the car, which makes sense because it's going to get mad aero, but also if you hit a speed bump or whatever, it's just going to perish the oil cooler. So my plan is to go underneath and find the oil cooler feed pipe and the return pipe. I'm going to unbolt both of them from the oil cooler.
Does any oil come out?
And then find some kind of hose to bridge the gap between the two. Oh, there is. Okay. There's oil in this one. This is going to do it. This is going to be our oil cooler. Now, instead of the oil circulating through an oil cooler,
found out what's
it'll
up with
just
the
pass
Twitch.
through my silicone hose, which is good enough to get the
reason
car
it's only
started
streaming 24p,
and
I gotta
into
figure
the
that out.
unit. The metal part of the hoses are kinked, so I'm going to have to replace them anyway.
Or
So I've
240p.
cut them off, so now I can slide on my silicone hose. Here it is. Da-da-da. Whoa! So the only way now of finding out how much oil is in it is draining it all out of the engine, but then it's just going to be carnage. I think the best plan is to get power to the battery, get the dash lit up, and the dash will probably say if it's got no oil in it straight away, surely. If you watched any of my videos before, then you know that usually when the car has a crash, it blows the pyro fuse when the airbags blow, which stops the power going to the starter motor. You'll still get power in the car, but you won't get power to the starter motor. This is the first time I've actually seen a pyro fuse here on the actual battery terminal. So what
That's
this
smooth.
is doing is stopping the power going along here, down into this cable.
Yeah, that's smooth because the pyro fuse on Porsches is underneath the dash, which means you have to rip up the whole dash just to get to the firewall, which the pyro fuse is located right behind.
And then this cable is sending the power directly down to the starter motor. So now I'm going to see if I can break open the casing of the pyro fuse to see if there's any way of bridging the gap so the power will get sent to the starter motor. And I've never seen this type of pyro fuse before. So the pyro fuse, all that does, when it blows, it literally pops off like that, and that's why that's a little bit bent. But by doing that, we've got direct power to the starter motor now. Look at that, it's fixed. So by doing that now, I've bridged the gap in the pyro fuse, and I can put it back to the positive on the battery terminal. It's almost like BMW knew people were going to crash them. Right,
We got power.
add coolant, it says, so we got no coolant. Does it say add oil? Oh, I got half a tank of fuel. It also says we have 7,000 miles on the clock, not 4,000. But this all adds to the
mileage
story
for it.
later on in the video. Now, my dad's going to add some oil into the engine because we're still unsure of how much it actually has in. And having it a little overfilled is better than having none in at all at this moment. The reason the bonnet is like this is, can you see that, Matt? Then that thing there is a pedestrian protection system. When you hit something on the front and it hits this pipe here, what will happen is your hinge will blow up from the back, because if you've hit a pedestrian, it will stop them from hitting the head on the engine. That's right. If you do hit something from the front, the hinge pop up at the back, cushioning the blow for potentially a pedestrian. And the only way to fix this now is to replace the hinges and the explosive device, which pops them off. There you go.
Well, the more
That's
you
crazy.
know.
Every new
If
car had that,
if
bro.
it starts rattling, turn it off instantly. Or if we just go no.
I'll just wait for the no.
There's two big moments here. One, whether it starts, which I think it should, and two, whether the gearbox is okay. Fingers are crossed. The last thing we need is something wrong with the...
Hold on. Transmission. What? There's no way. All right, hold on one second. That's my uncle right there. Yo. Yeah, just chilling, streaming, working. Everybody's good. Everybody's getting big. Yeah, so everybody's doing good. Sadie's good. She's chilling. Yeah, love my 3 kids, and that's it. That factory shut down. Yeah. But let me hit you back. I'm gonna get back to the stream, and then I'm gonna hit you. Give me 2 days to get in touch with him. So I'll give you a call on Thursday, and if I don't reach you, I'll shoot you a text. All right, take care, be safe. Of course, love you. All right, bro. That's my Uncle Pete. Shout out to my Uncle Pete. We gotta work on his car, just regular maintenance stuff. But yeah, let's get back to the video.
Engine or the gearbox. That would throw us back massively. Here it goes.
Get the fuck out of here.
Smooth as anything.
Sounds mint.
It ran.
All right, bet.
And it was running good. Any oil
Definitely
coming
not
out?
mad at that.
Bit of water's been in. Any lights on the dash? A few lights on the dash. Oh, it sounds good. It sounds good.
Oh, that's it. Oh, restraint system.
Oh, that sounds good. See if it'll drive. Go and drive. See if it'll drive. Yeah, that's drive. That's drive. Now, will it actually move with its own power?
It's moving. Go on. It's moving.
And it
This
did.
nigga locked up, bro.
Just about.
Oh my god. Oh my.
It's the little wins that matter.
It's going.
Even the lights work. Indicate left.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
It's alright.
I don't know how much you
cut it
bought
off.
this for.
But at least now we know the engine seems good and the gearbox. We got that car running pretty fast.
Yo, I would have carbon hood, carbon fenders, hydro kit on some friggin'. Oh my god, I don't even know what wheels I would put on this. I'm a Meister's guy, but I don't know. There's too many wheels. Probably BBS RS2s. What am I talking about? What?
And as
Oh
you
my
all
God.
know, I'm far from a mechanic. But the experience I've had from the previous cars that we've rebuilt and learnt from has made jobs like this much quicker and easier. Guess it's the experience that does really matter. Now it's time to see if this thing's actually repairable. A lot of people might think that this whole chassis would have been twisted. Now, the reason why I bought this is because I don't think it is twisted. But if it's hit here, and if anything had moved, you'd see it in the roof. Now, the roof's carbon fibre, and it's not broken. There's no kinks here, but if we come over this way, if it had bananaed the car, you'd see some form of dent or movement along here. There's no movement here. All the lines on this side look absolutely perfect. The boot looks like it has gone that way,
Yeah.
but we found a reason for that. It's because all the hinge up here has all been hit. The only thing I couldn't see when I bought the car is the subframe underneath, and if the subframe has twisted or moved, we could be in for an issue, which means it may need to go on a jig, depending on how bad it is, but we haven't seen underneath the car yet. So first step, get it in the air, and we'll have a look at the damage underneath.
Yo, shout out to having your own shop, yo. For people out there that have their own shop and can be able to pull off this creative content, that's pretty dope. And shout out to the people that don't have a shop, honestly, that are outside working in their backyard with their friends and working on the street, but we all know what it's like. It shit sucks, and being able to have a shop with a lift is where it's at.
Now, one thing you might be surprised to see is that on the car vertical report, the car actually comes back all clean. No mileage fraud, no records of theft, and no records of damage. And I think there's a reason for this, which we'll find out later. Front looks alright. For now, actually looking underneath the car for the first time, the front doesn't look too bad. Anything that's broken or bent so far looks like it just unbolts and could be replaced. Okay, the big part. Now we're going to check whether the subframe has moved. I can see where it bolts up here, and it looks alright.
It's bent this arm, innit? This one.
Yeah, there it is. I can now see why the back left wheel has moved.
Let me tell you, owning an M3, yo, Once you start looking at the car, start working on things, yo, they really put that M label on everything, bro. Everything.
Because this rear trailing arm is definitely bent. But looking at where the subframe bolts up to the chassis, there's no evidence so far that there's any movement there, which is great. Here's a rear trailing arm on the right hand side of the car and the rear trailing arm on the left. I can 100% confirm that's definitely bent. And now we're bringing out the tram gauge. We're going to be measuring from corner to corner of the subframe to see if we get the same measurement. And if we do, we know that the subframe's sitting in the right place.
I'm in the middle.
Good news.
Good. So it is literally straight. So that is the best way to find out if something's straight. And that is bang on. We're not out like, you probably get a few mil tolerance, but we're going directly to the center of each side of the bolt. That's good. If it was bent, then it would have moved something, but that is bang on. And that is called a tram gauge. And that's what the professionals use it. We use the professionals. I'm just going to undo this arm here. See
if you can push it back.
and see if it moves the wheel a bit.
The wheel's
Oh,
moving.
I felt a lot of release there.
Yeah, it's moving already.
The wheel's moving for sure.
Now I'm going to take that rear arm off. Now if the wheel moves back in the correct place, it may just be as simple as one bent arm on the rear.
Rear wheel steer.
It's straight!
There's always that one friend that got jokes, man.
It's not rear wheel steer.
Did you say that you think we should replace it all anyway?
I feel like we should. You don't know what's bent and what isn't bent by just looking at it. Good news, monumental moment. We think this car could be repaired, but we need to now see how much damage is behind that quarter. But how exactly did this car end up like this in the first place? Well, I found this listing before the car was crashed for sale at this place online. And this was the place I actually picked up the crashed car from. You can see the car looks pretty good here, and it's only done 4,500 miles. But it must have drove around 2,500 miles more, and then end up in a house. But my first question is, how did someone even manage to drive it in the house? I still cannot get my head around it, and I don't think the police could either. Here's the house, car entered here.
Yeah.
How is the car entered the house there? The house that it hit is on the corner of the road here. If the car was driving down this way, it's too much of an angle for it to hit the rear quarter on the wall there and then go into the house. So my only thought is that the car was coming down from this angle down here and maybe spun somehow, hit the rear quarter into the wall and then go into the house.
Excuse me, teacher.
Yeah.
Do you know on the previous photograph, have we got any tire marks on this grass?
None at all. There's no tyre marks on the floor, and none of the grass between the road and the house has even been picked up. So how has it ended up in the house? I guess we won't know, and we might not ever know.
Insurance
But
job.
one thing is for sure that I do know.
That shit's an insurance job, bro. There's no way. Nigga smacked the car. It was like, yo, I'm gonna get this insurance payout.
Is that the person who drove it into the house was either not insured or didn't go for insurance. So let me show you why. On the car vertical check, as I mentioned, it shows completely clean, no record of damage. So they never went through the insurance, and that's why it never got registered. And to be honest, I think if it did go through insurance, it might have just been a complete write-off, never to be put back on the road. But I guess again, we'll never know.
So somebody just took the L on an $80,000 car, bro.
Oh my God, it's eaten the arch lining. Look at that. That's the arch lining. So the whole car is built in sections, and this is all steel. So unlike the M5 where it was aluminium and it was all bonded and riveted, this is just spot welded all together. We've got to strip more of this car apart to see how far the damage has got. Which means taking apart everything on the rear end. First thing off, the rear
Isn't too
bumper.
bad.
Bit by bit, we're getting there. Everything in the back left is in a pretty bad way, and we're definitely gonna have to replace it. That's if we decide it's repairable. Underneath all this sealer, is where all the panels are joined together. So every time we see a bit of seal, it's covering over the spot welds. We've now got to work out how many panels actually need replacing. And with the next step being taking out the arch lining, we found the damage. It's a lot worse than we thought.
She mean, bro.
Force!
You're not reusing that bit then.
Nah.
Look at this. Even my dad looks shocked at this one. The whole back end, inner arch lining, and it looks like the boot floor has all been damaged. Now I'm stripping apart the inside of the boot, taking off the wiring and all the amplifiers, which leaves us with this.
Jesus.
I don't know if this is right, but I'm gonna cut it. We're gonna see. I'm just gonna go.
Oh,
Oh my god.
how's it worse?
What does that even mean? Look at it.
Oh my.
It is bad, isn't it?
That's well bad.
Now what?
What even?
We've still got to continue.
That's crazy. Because literally, I'm sitting there thinking, like, yo, what do you even do at this point, bro? I mean, you've already spent the money on the car. You own the car. You have to fix it. But it's like, if you got no experience in this shit, where do you even, like, go?
Dripping it because the damage just keeps on going. And I don't want to buy anything for this car if it's just completely scrap. So the next thing to take off is the parcel shelf. We want to see if that's got any damage from the rear quarter being hit in so far. First off, we can get the fabric off it. Then there's a bunch of sound deadening, which we can work at getting off now. Along that are the seat belts and a couple of trim clips. And as we thought, the parcel shelf is also kinked. So that's either going to have to be pulled straight or just straight up replaced. Next up is removing the back seat and the rear bench to see if there's somehow any damage there, because if there is, I definitely think that this car is long gone. But it's looking all good. So now we're moving back onto the boot. We can see that the boot lid is moved over because on the parcel shelf where it holds the hinge, it is completely bent. You can see my dad struggling to get the ratchet on the nut here. I've then got to remove the spring from the boot lid on both sides. Springs out. And then also the hydraulic strut which holds the boot up. After that, me and my dad can remove it. How the hell is that going to go back in? So this is what we're initially left with. There is a lot of damage here, but the good news, looking at the positives, is that the rail on the back looks completely untouched. Obviously, I'm going to have to measure up everything to make sure it is straight, but I'm pretty confident to say that this is completely straight along with that one, and most of the damage is caused all on the inside here. The inner wheel arch is gone, and even the parcel shelf on here is all kinked and moved. You can see this bit is just lifted up, which is why the boot has moved over. I think this is repairable, but it is nothing I've ever repaired before. So with the car as is, with the
By the way, after this, I'll be jumping on stream with the fellas. I mean, I don't know if it's going to be streamed, but I'll be jumping on with 2K later. Catch a game with the fellas later on. I don't know if I should stream it, if y'all would want to watch that as a stream, or if I should just keep this automotive. But I kind of like having this being unscripted, no restrictions, like completely separate from the podcast format, which we got some things coming up. I just lined up a really important guest, so podcast is definitely coming back.
damage at the back, all the airbags deployed, the damage at the front, damage to both headlights, and bearing in mind it's only done 7,000 miles and it's not registered as crashed. I got this car for £32,000. I don't think it's cheap.
32,000 pounds, 60s, 80, after that. And you spent 40 bands on that smacked one.
Cheap,
Not me.
but I don't think it's too expensive if all of this can be repaired. Bearing in mind that if we repair this car, it'll be completely clean title. So you're looking at over £62,000 for the spec that it is. But as I mentioned, before I spend any money on this car, I think I want a professional to look over it to make sure it is actually safe to repair.
What's up, buddy?
Yo, we are calling you because of your expertise and knowledge.
Liar.
Is this repairable?
By repairable, do you mean like after you cut it out you can repair it, or like fix that?
Yeah, I mean, after we cut it out, is it repairable?
Yeah, anything's repairable.
Which is exactly what I wanted to hear. Now, we can begin work. So all of this can come off with all of these separate little spot welds here. Can you see? Look, spot weld, spot weld, spot weld, spot weld. But I'm not going to start that just yet. We're going to start here at the front and then work our way back because there's still quite a lot of damage that needs to be done. Let's do it. We'll worry about that rear quarter later in the video. For now, let's get this bonnet off. And anytime you have damage to a bonnet on a car, it's always good to replace the hinges as well. Especially on this BMW because it has that passenger protection system. This little device here you can see me pushing down, which pushes the back of the hinge upwards to protect a pedestrian if you were ever to hit them. But to access the hinges, we've got to take off this scuttle panel along with the wiper blades, and now we can get to the system which is bolted to the hinge. Because these are deployed, we're going to have to replace not only the protection system, but also the hinges as well. These hinges, they can actually be reset after they blow off with the pedestrian protection system. And someone said, why don't I do that to just save the money? Well, the thing is, even if I do like slide that down and then hook this back over that little knob there, this hinge, you can see, it is well bent. Like, it's proper, that's meant to be rolled back there. So if we're lining up the bonnet, it's just not worth the hassle. Just get new hinges and stop being a cheapskate. Last time, we tried to work out how exactly this BMW ended up in a house. And this time, we actually have new footage. This is CCTV from one of the houses down the road. And if you look in the top right-hand corner, you can see the BMW fly past and into the house. And what's even better than that, I actually had emailed a recreation of the crash, including the speed they were going as well. They were going pretty fast into this house.
Right.
So that's what happened. Now we've just got to rebuild it.
I don't know if it's a fucking streaming thing, but I don't know how he's saying the same shit that I'm saying or whatever. That's starting to mess me up a little bit, bro. I'm not gonna lie. Maybe we're just on the same vibes. Whatever.
Yeah. So there's still more damage to the front end of the car. Both front wings are damaged, the front bumper, the headlights, and who knows what else when we start to tear this apart. There's even little things that you forget about, like the parking sensors and the wiring, which has all been broken. But at this stage, it's just a case of stripping everything apart and trying to find everything that is damaged so we know we can replace it. The front left headlight is definitely no good to us anymore. And there's parts of the insulation of the house inside the light. And on the driver's side headlight, that's all broken up as well. So that's also going to have to be replaced. And now we can get on with removing the front wing, or fender if you're American. Some of the bolts for the wings are in tricky places, but generally most BMWs are all the same. And as we've worked on a few now, it's quite easy to locate where the bolts are. And once we've got that wing off, we can see exactly what's damaged. Again, everything here is looking great, but we didn't expect there to be any damage here. This is maybe bent, but I think it'll go again. That'll go again, won't it? Next step, there's a bit of brick. Front rad pack. This should come off in one whole piece, I think. We should be able to get it off.
Just jiggle back it.
What's that mean?
It's like...
Okay. First off, it's the strut braces. Yeah! Then we've got to remove the clips which hold the intake pipe to the rad pack. Ethan demonstrating quite well here.
I know!
After that, there's 4 big bolts which remove it from the frame. Next.
Working on these cars, the amount of stupid specialty sockets that you need, yo. Like them E-Torx bits and all this other random shit. Oh my god, I remember when I bagged the F80, yo, I was just like, why do I just, yo, let's go with a standard 10 mil. Like, they need to cut the shits, but I get it, whatever. But yeah, it's just dumb. It is.
Next step, hoses. We're disconnecting everything that's connected from the rad pack to the engine and chassis of the car. There's 2 hoses on this side for this small radiator, a bottom hose for the main radiator, and the same on the other side. And to access it further, we've got to remove this under tray, which also works as a strut brace as well. Now we can remove the 2 bolts at the bottom, which are connecting the rad pack to the front subframe, and the 4 big bolts, which are also connecting the rad pack to the chassis legs of the car. After that, we should have the all clear. We've just got to move it away and make sure we did actually disconnect everything. Oh, there's one. Hey. Yes. Then, screensaver popped in to remove the windscreen, which is going to be helpful for a job we're going to be doing later on in the video. Cheers, lads. This is the rad pack, and it holds every single radiator for the car on the front of it. Sometimes it is easier to go through every single individual part and order that separately, and it can be cheaper. But in this case, and especially in this case, I've got a better deal on ordering the full bit complete.
That's fire that you can get the whole section, just bolt that shit back up. That's crazy.
Because I've got this one. This front rad pack, which is pretty much perfect, it's got every single part on it, was from Cinetic, which is a breaker's yard, and they were breaking a BMW M3 with rear end damage. So I've got lucky here, and I've got a lot of parts in a package deal for my M3. All I've got to do now is just put this rad pack on, which should be as easy as taking it off. We'll see. It is a huge saviour being able to buy something like this, because generally I thought I'd struggle getting something like this when I first picked up the car because the car's so new.
Bet that one ain't from 7,000 miles.
But it's definitely worth doing that extra bit of research and asking breakers yards if they have any of the car that you're rebuilding in, even if it isn't listed online. Now I've got the rad pack roughly in place. I'm connecting all the electrical connections up, like the front fans, then all the cooling hoses, making sure I connect up the bonnet release cable to the new rad pack, which includes the bonnet locks on it, and then connecting up the hoses for the auxiliary radiators on the left and right hand side of the car. After that's done, we can begin to put all the bolts in which connect the rad pack to the
yo, this is so smooth, because instead of like having to rebuy everything individually, yo, like plug and play.
chassis of it and the front subframe. Not forgetting even more electrical connectors. Then I can push the intake pipe back in place and put those clips back in that Ethan removed. And it's looking pretty good. It is starting to look brand new already, or brand new second hand, links in the description. Now, everything is connected on the front bar 2 things. So here's the oil cooler that always gets battered and bruised, and here are the oil lines which go to it, and they were kinked. I had to cut them off in the last video so we could bypass the oil cooler. Well, this line actually goes here, and this line here actually goes to there. I need 2 new oil lines which haven't arrived yet from BMW, so we're waiting for them, and that is the last thing we need to connect to get this up and running, and then we can change the oil and make sure it is all good. But there's more things to fit. This foam piece goes at the very front of the crash bar here and actually serves a purpose. It holds this little tube which goes down along here into those little sensors which I told you guys about, which if this gets hit and that hose pinches, then it blows that pedestrian protection system up on the front end. Literally all that holds this on is you just do this. And that is it. Don't kick it. Big moment now. The headlights. Our worst enemy. Chances of these working is very slim. Now, normally what I do with headlights, and I advise anyone to do it, is just check the part number on your own headlight and get the exact same one. There's no point taking the risk, but guess what? I took the risk. 644802. Completely different. Starts with a 9.
I'm hoping this works.
I'm gonna just plug this one in. We've never had good experience plugging in second-hand headlights, but let's see what happens with these second-hand headlights. They were £900 for the pair.
Okay, it's not great.
I think it's not the most expensive set of headlights I've had, but they aren't cheap.
No.
See if it works.
Big moment.
Oh! We're on. No lights.
Nope.
No lights. No, nothing.
Nothing at all.
No.
Damn.
Fantastic.
£900 in the bin.
No lights.
Nothing.
I just wanted to remove the second-hand headlights and put the originals back in just to see if they were working.
That's a good test. I like that. That's clever. That's also painful.
Yeah, I think you gotta swap over the computer.
What's
You gotta
the
swap over that
difference?
balance over.
Unless they're doing your sneak coding. I could change these, but I don't think these are going to make a difference. I don't think they are.
It's worth it for a £900 to try.
Yeah. So I was down to the last resort of changing all the little ballasts on the back of the headlight. I'm not actually sure this will make a huge difference, but it's just worth a try. It's never worked previously, but that's not to say it won't work now. Swapped over all these modules, but I'm feeling very doubtful because I think all these do is just power up the LEDs. I'm very, very, very doubtful. But let's manifest. Ooh.
Told you. Boom. Come on, dog.
It actually works.
No way did that work.
That's never worked before.
That's never worked before. This
That's that feeling when you realize you didn't waste $900.
No way, that's
$1,300
never
whatever.
worked before.
Okay, let's just do
I
the other one.
manifested it.
Let's just do the other one before we get too excited.
I manifested it.
You did manifest it.
I manifested it. There you go, guys. Manifest it, and it works. All I've got to do now is manifest the rear end being fixed. I can't believe that actually worked. Maybe one of you guys could tell me why that worked? Yes! I still can't get my head around it. Now we're gonna modify them. Oh! Yes! Look at that! I'm going to be removing this little board here with the LED on, which sits inside the module. Once I've removed it, I'm then going to apply some of this paste to stick a new board on, which I got from Auto ID. And we're going to wait for that to dry. After that, I'm going to move to the back of the headlight and remove the module out of this one. And once I've got that out, pry the board off the module. Oh! Being very careful with it. And then apply the new board, which I got from Auto ID as well. I think this is going to be a pretty cool modification, but we've got to wait for it to dry. Whilst we wait for the glue to dry on those modules, I do have some more stuff. In with my deal, I also managed to get a bonnet, a wing or fender if you're American, and another wing or fender if you're American. Now these are wrapped, this is wrapped in grey, but somehow I've been so fluky and it is the same orangey red as what the car is. I've just got to unwrap it. I've already unwrapped that wing. I'm going to unwrap this and then I can start fitting the two wings. We could actually get the full front end built. This is going to be like record timing. When buying parts off a scrap car, you can usually get a pretty good deal if you're going to buy a lot of them. So as well as buying the rad pack and the headlights, I managed to get a really good deal with the front wings and bonnet as well. And lucky enough for me, they were the same colour as the car. The only thing is, I've got to remove the wrap that was on them first. But again, luckily, underneath the wrap, the paint was all good. So we might get away with not having to paint this. With the wrap off, I could start to fit the right-hand side wing. Unfortunately, I didn't get a front bumper with the deal, but you'll see why in a minute. Once I put this wing on, I can put the washer bottle in place which sits inside the wing and
Like I
secures
said,
up
Hydro
with
kit,
just
bro.
one bolt. After that, the board on the modules had dried, so I can plug them back in and slot them into the top of the headlight, tighten them down, then get the ones which fit on the back, plug them in and tighten them up. And we're about to see whether this modification is actually pulled off. Here we go.
Oh, beat, yo.
Big moment. Oh, look at just one
Oh,
side
the
light,
yellow
just one side
DRLs,
light.
tough.
Yeah. Look at that. Look. Yellow. I know some people are going to be like, why would you do that?
Cause shit
But
fire,
that
bro.
looks
Fuck.
mental.
Yo, listen. Your car, your bill, your money, bro. Fuck what people say.
Yellow DRLs. Oh, that's cool. Wait. Full effect. Oh, look at that.
That at night time is going to look sick.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah?
Good news.
You don't love it?
Is it legal?
Is it legal?
Is it legal? Are you the police? That is looking so cool. Again, I think it's those extra little touches which is really going to pull this car together when we finally get it back on the road. Now, we're onto wiring. Some of the parking sensor wires have been pulled out of the connectors on the front. So instead of buying a whole new loom, which is pretty expensive, I imagine, I'm just going to splice the wires on the front, slide on my little solder stick, then slide on a connector which I had left over in the unit, and when I use my heat gun over this little solder sleeve, it will heat it up and melt the solder in it, making a nice connection. Now, some people don't like the look of the standard front bumper on these, and I kind of have to agree with you. The front nostrils are pretty hard to get used to.
Yeah, I remember when these cars first came out and BMW dropped the visuals for it, yo. I remember so much hate, bro. This is ugly. Look at the grill. It's massive. The BMW kidneys. Now, when I see one, bro, I humbly, apologize to BMW. This car is so damn sexy.
But when I went to Auto ID, they said there was a solution for that, and I think they're right. This is the Adro bumper.
Yeah.
And Auto ID are the UK distributors of Adro. And I think this bumper is going to dramatically change the front of this car for the good. And I don't think we'll get the full effect until it's painted. For now, we've got to see whether it fits right. So I'm fitting all the parking sensor wiring loom, which I've just repaired to the back of the Adro bumper, and then I can slot it into place. Again, a huge thank you to Auto ID for this. When they reached out to me to help with the modifications of this build, of course I'm not going to say no. I'll be mad to. For now, the Adro bumper is on.
Better.
It's a 10 out of 10 from me.
Way better.
Look at this. That looks savage. That looks unreal. I think that is a definite improvement. Again, there's probably going to be people that are like, oh no, I prefer the original. But how can you not?
Hell nah, man. Yo, send that Adro kit, yo. Them niggas knew what's up, bro. Great marketing scheme. They knew everybody hated those bumpers in the beginning. And the fact that they capitalized on that moment, had the idea to just create the right marketing and create a beautiful product, fire, bro. Because that bumper, I seen it in person, yo. Both the wide body and the regular, it just hits.
Not like that. I know it's not orange or red or whatever the colour of the car is at the minute. Oh, that looks wicked. That looks absolutely wicked. Introducing more modifications. I wouldn't be me without upgrading the car as well as rebuilding it. So to get rid of those ugly strut braces, we've got some carbon strut braces from Keys or Kiz. I'm not sure how you pronounce it.
Keys, bro, keys.
These are just going to simply replace the old ugly strut braces and look a lot better in doing so. I always like to throw in the odd upgrade when rebuilding these cars just to give them that extra bit of edge to a regular BMW M3. And I'm sure there's going to be plenty more upgrades throughout this whole rebuild. It's a very upgradable car. Another sensational modification, in my opinion. But you guys can let me know in the comment section below. Now, time for the bonnet. And with the bonnet, of
Are you gonna
course,
wrap it?
I got the new bonnet hinges. Normally to line up a bonnet and get the panel lines all good is pretty tricky, but for now, I'm just gonna use the witness marks of where it was originally bolted up to get it roughly in place. Once the hinges are in place, it's time for the new passenger protection system, which bolts to the hinges, and then the electrical connector can clip into them on both sides. And then I've got to get to work with removing all of the old wrap. And that is pretty much job done for the front end. Right, lads from the body shop have come down who paint my cars and they've said that basically what I shouldn't have done is cut all of this out, which is probably right, because the idea is to pull this out with all the panels connected to try and get this line quite nice before I start taking off the quarter panels and everything else. Look at the contraption that they've set up. So it's going to go onto a strong part of the chassis rail over there. The pump goes along here and then onto a strong part of the quarter. And then I'm going to pump it up and try and push this out as far as I can to get this gap nice. Whoa.
Even moving a pair.
The idea is to get the panels as straight as possible before we start cutting off the rear quarter. That way we can get a pretty good idea of what part of the car is savable and what part of the car that we actually need to cut off. Also, we're going to get a nice mating surface for all of the new panels which go on. And you can see just how far the car's actually moving when the guys are pushing it around in the back now. And then we'll get a pretty good idea. Look at this, what a difference pulling it makes. I really wish I didn't cut it, but we know now for next time, because that's just, well, it's just really helped pulling the whole panel out. We've got almost a nice gap here. It's a little bit bigger here, but that's because of all of this damage. But now we've actually got room in the back, and we can see which parts are scrap, which have been written on, and then which parts we're going to save. So like this inner arch lining we can save, and now I think we can save this parcel shelf. It's all been pulled out, and by doing that, it means that we don't have to do loads of welding over on this side, which is what we didn't want to do. So now we kind of have made progress here, but that's not the job we want to carry on with at the minute. All of the airbags inside the car need changing. Every single one is deployed, but to do so, I need to be able to open the doors. So I've got to put the wheels on, but that brings me to the rear, and that's why I've got this arm here. Remember in the first video, we found that only one arm was bent on the back. So all I'm going to do is put this arm on, see if the wheel sits straight, put the wheel on, and I should be able to just drive it forward enough so I can open the doors and fit the dashboard. So this is actually going to be quite interesting. First, I still need to remove more damaged trims and heat shields which are at the back. Now we can get full access to that vent.
Yo, shout out to his editor. Yo, you have no idea in the background, like having that music, finding something that's lit, but also not going to get you copyright hit. Like, such a pain in the ass. Shout out to him and his editor.
I've already unbolted it from the rear subframe. I've just got to unbolt it from the actual wheel hub. And these funny looking washers here are there so we can adjust the toe of the wheel in and out. But we'll worry about them when we come to get the wheel alignment. Now we've just got to fit the new rear trailing arm and get the washers roughly right.
That controls the handbrake, and it is broken. Slapped off. So we just got to put a new one of them on.
Also, the electronic handbrake is broken. It's only plastic and it's snapped off from the actual caliper. I've just got to unbolt the broken parts off the caliper and then bolt on the new electronic handbrake. All this is a motor which twists the piston on the caliper outwards so it clamps the brake pads onto the rear disc, effectively doing a handbrake's job but electronically. Now I can put the wheel on and I can see if everything is all lining up okay. And from here, it looks alright. Okay, moment of truth. We want to pull this forward. Actually, let's check the tracking. That looks sound. This one, sound. I think we're good.
Look how crazy this thing looks.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah, it's a little bit pointed in, isn't it?
Yeah, that's definitely...
But Yeah, I did do that. I can tow it out. I've just, that arm I put on has got adjustment, which I did show. But now we can get doors open, and it's time to do all of these airbags. Obviously, we've got to replace the full dashboard because the passenger airbag has split the dash over here, and you can't repair this. There's a weak point in the dash, and when that blows up, it's no longer repairable. So we've got to replace the full dashboard. Luckily, I got one, second hand, £450.
That's not too bad.
I don't think, it didn't include airbags. I had to buy the airbags. The airbags, it did include airbags.
And you've bought them separately as well?
Oh my God. Well, that's a bonus. I could send an airbag back. Because the airbags were about like 700 quid for the second hand one there.
So we saved £900 with the headlights.
We're on a roll. We're on a roll. This is out of 3 series, so like a regular 3 series, but I think it's the same. But we'll find out. First step is to remove the seats. I always tend to do this when doing airbags. It just gives you a bit more room to move around the car, especially when all of the airbags are deployed. That's one driver's seat out and the passenger seat. Loads of room now to crack on with the work. I'm going to start off with the curtain airbags. The ones I hate the most. Off comes the A-pillar trim, and the curtain airbags are just clipped into the actual frame of the car. But the clips are so powerful and they're really hard to get out. But once you've got them out, this is what the device looks like. Onto the new curtain airbag, which I bought from BMW. Fresh with new clips, ready to go in. All I've got to do with this is plug in the electrical connector for it. There's 2 bolts which hold the actual explosive device to the frame of the car, and then the rest is all on clips. And it's exactly the same for the right hand side of the car as well. And once that's done, we can push back the headliner and move on to the next thing. Ready? Okay, curtain airbags are in. That is a horrible job, but it's done. Next step, we've got to take these seat belts out because they are fully locked up. Oh, that one isn't. Oh, do you know why that might be?
Why?
What do you think?
Because the passenger wasn't driving.
Normally, so these seat belts lock out, so when the airbag deploys, it's done. Next step, we've got to take these seat belts out because they are fully locked up. Oh, that one isn't. Oh, do you know why that might be?
Why?
What do you think?
Because the passenger wasn't driving.
Bro, it's alright. It's alright. It's alright.
Normally, so these seat belts lock out, so when the airbag deploys, you stay in the same spot. Otherwise, if it didn't lock out, then what would happen is you go forward, the airbag would deploy, and then you just KO yourself on the steering wheel. So these lock out to keep you in the same spot. Did you know that?
I did know that.
Thing is, we can get these sent off to a company and then reset and have new airbag device things put on them, which is what I plan to do because it saves a lot of money. So I'm going to take these bolts out and we'll send them off. Then we can get onto the dashboard.
Are you going to send the other one off?
Yeah, just in case, because I feel like it should have been locked out. The only reason I can think of that the other seatbelt hasn't locked up is that either the passenger wasn't wearing a seatbelt or there just wasn't a passenger. I guess we might never find out. But now I've got the trim removed, I can access the bolts which hold the seatbelt in place, remove them and send them off. And we do exactly the same thing for the passenger side. Even though it does seem okay, I just want to be sure. Seatbelts are out. Next step, the big one. Center console's got to come out because the dashboard has got to come out. I thought I might be able to get away with just taking the dash out and leaving the center console in. But when we look at the old dashboard, there's a bolt holding it in there, and there was something there, but whoever took that out broke that. So yeah, center console's got to come out. Here we go, onto the big one, the dashboard. There's no avoiding it, we've got to do it. First off is the trim at the back of the center console. Once I've got this off, I can access the 2 10mm bolts which bolt the center console to the frame of the car. Then I'm going to go in the cup holder, remove the trim, then I can see the other 2 10mm which hold the center console to the frame of the car. Again,
Not
I've
that
never
bad.
worked on one of these BMW M3s ever before, so most of this is just guessing and using common sense on where I think the bolts are which are going to hold in this dashboard. We still haven't managed to remove the center console away from the dash because we think there's a few hidden bolts behind it, but my dad's trying to work that out whilst I start taking apart this dashboard.
So
Out with the
killing.
screen in the middle, and then the instrument cluster. Got to take out all the fans, because behind the fans there's usually hidden bolts. I can lift up the trim behind the steering wheel for more bolts to remove the instrument cluster, and behind the instrument cluster, even more bolts. But the cool thing about this BMW is that they've actually used all of the same bolts to hold the dashboard in, which makes it a lot easier to organise them all and work out where they went. I've removed the knee airbag from underneath the steering wheel. There's one bolt at the top of the dash here, which would have been really difficult to get to if we had that windscreen in. So again, a massive thanks
Damn,
to
so you gotta take the
Screensaver
windscreen
for
out.
taking the screen out for us, which has made this job a lot easier. Now moving over onto the left side, which my dad's doing. 2 bolts on the side, 1 bolt at the top of the dashboard, a few underneath, and then a lot more inside the glove box. It's never ending.
Electric gun, my boy.
The dash still didn't move, so we pried this trim off on the top of the dashboard, which revealed a set of speakers, and you guessed it, a whole lot more bolts. Oh no.
Rip, been there
My dad
before.
dropped one of them.
Yo, we've all been there before. That's just hilarious.
So we pried this trim off on the top of the dashboard, which revealed a set of speakers, and you guessed it, a whole lot more bolts. Oh no.
And I know the pain as a son, yo. You got to eat that because, yo, when you're working with your pops on a car, and if that was you that did that, that's your ass.
My dad dropped one of them, but we managed to find it. Next up, it's the steering wheel airbag, pops out from the steering wheel, and then I can loosen the one big bolt which holds the steering wheel to the steering wheel column. We're going to tape the clock spring into place to stop it from spinning and breaking. Then I'm going to start to strip apart the steering column, just so we're able to pull the dashboard over the top of it. Then I think we finally figured out where the last 2 bolts were. I think we're on the last 2 bolts, which are like
easy.
through this tiny little
Tight,
hole
bro.
at the back. For some reason BMW put them there. The rest, really easy. And of course the last 2 ones are going to be a faff. Not much room here. Hey! The dash is out. There's a lot of stuff in here, bearing in mind, we've just taken the full dashboard out. There's still a lot of stuff. Heads-up display, steering column, this whole metal frame. So this is how many screws we're holding on
I hate those screws.
the actual dashboard. If we've got any left over at the end, we haven't done very well. And we do a little score out of 10. Now we're going to minus 2 off this because the new dashboard has got 2 broken bits off. So if we've got 2 left at the end, that still counts as a 10 out of 10 score, as I see it. Any more than 2, then we've got a problem. Here's
All right, guys, I'm going to take a quick break off the stream. I'll be back later on. We'll grab something to eat. Starving. I'm going to see y'all a little bit. Y'all know the vibes. Stay up, stay blessed. Peace.